This is a tutorial on how to do the last assignment that we've had, the assignment that is due tomorrow, April 15th, for GDQ ICT Honors class. You will notice that I am starting this tutorial in Sycamore. You may be thinking to yourself, well, why start in Sycamore? Shouldn't we be starting in an editor or in FileZilla or in something like that? No, because in order to do the proper job on this, we have got to start by looking very carefully and making sure that we understand the problem. And I very often get students who come in and are having great difficulty, and I say, did you read this carefully? Oh, I didn't realize it was like that. So let's look very carefully at what this is. I'm going to step through this very quickly and then move on to the other things. Step number one, go to this page and create the data. I have already set up my data over here in a file I called scrape.txt. Actually, no, I don't. So let me go. I thought I had that. So I will come in here, select this here, and oh, here it is. I already had it up. I had started doing it but didn't finish. So I'll move in. I'll come, being very careful to grab just at the beginning, select down to the bottom of these 59 things. Come on, computer. Faster, faster, faster. Come down to the end of the 59. Copy, go over to my scrape.txt and paste it in. And I would normally from here go somewhere else and look at something else to try and edit this or make it pretty. But because we're going to do all this with code, I'm just going to leave it as it is, recognizing that there may be problems. So, going back to our description. First off, go to this page, copy paste the list of 59 one another's into a data file, such as oneanother.txt. I called it scrape.txt. Save it somewhere so you can use it as your data file. I have it saved in WOMP www GDQ one another. We can come over to here and look at that. You can see C:/WOMP www GDQ one another. I'm going to be doing my development locally rather than over the network just to speed things up a little bit. So I come back to the description here. It gives me an idea of what it looks like, and if I look at my scrape.txt, that's pretty much what it looks like. Come back here, move down a little bit, create a form on a page which allows you to upload this data file. Now, I have already gone through and created form.php. Form.php is just simply something that I copied from a previous one. You'll notice that the form action here is process.php, so we're going to have to do that. Notice I've got the enc type, which is required in order to do uploads, and the method has to be post in order to do uploads. If any of those things are not in place, then it doesn't work. Then I've got my actual upload with a type of file, and then I have the submit button. So let's see what that looks like. We're going to go over here to localhost GDQ one another form.php. I'll renew it just so you can see, yes, this is what happens. What file am I going to choose? I'm going to choose C:/WOMP oops, didn't take that. C:/WOMP back www back GDQ back one another, and I'm going to find scrape.txt, and I submit. And it looks like it's gone through. I have some errors here because it doesn't like the use of the word split. That's the wrong function. Let's go over and look at the process, which is just a very simple thing that I've got going so far. Again, copied in from another assignment that we've already done. Basically, I assign the file name into a variable called fn, and I said if there's no value there, then just die, giving me this error here. So if I tried to load up process.php just without anything coming in, then it should say, okay, it gave me extra errors. I have to do like this to get rid of the errors. And then it says error, must upload a file. Notice this @ sign. The @ sign says even if you don't have the index into the array text file, don't give me any errors about it. Just give me back the blank value that I would normally expect. That's what the @ sign in front of a variable means. If it's an uninitialized variable, it will not generate an error itself. So again, if I don't have it and I come in here, I get this kind of a thing here, undefined index text file. That's saying I don't know what file's text file is. There's no value there. Whereas if I put this @ sign in front of it and then load it up, then it says error, must load a file. So here we're in the process, the one that will receive the uploaded file, and the file name is now in $fn if we've uploaded properly. Then I use file get contents, giving it the name of the file here to actually take the contents of that file and put it in my variable called text. Then I split it up into lines, into all the lines, by splitting on a \n. Now, because I'm using a further advanced version of what is it I'm using? A more advanced version of PHP, it complains about that. So let's see if we come back here and go back to the form.php, upload scrape.txt, and submit it. Now it gives me the correct information there. I had to use preg split rather than split because split is now deprecated. As you can see, all I had to do is put another slash before and after in order to make it a properly formed regular expression. And now we have this line, and I'm looping through all of my array. Every value that's in lines will go into $line, and then all I do in my loop is simply echo debug line : $line. And you can see what all of these are. Debug line : and then it gives me the value of this. Debug line : and then it gives you the next thing that was there. And if we go down to the bottom just to see of interest, we'll see that the very last line is indeed a blank line. We're going to need to make sure that we handle that properly so that it doesn't mess us up. All right? So this is our function as it stands. Let's go back and see what we're doing with our actual assignment. We are to process the data file received through the form and output a table like this. And notice the parentheses instead of single brackets. So we're to produce something that says table tr td and then the number, td and then the reference, and then close off the td, close off the tr, and start a new one. So we need a regular expression which will grab the number in the beginning and then we'll grab the reference there. Let's see how that works. First off, I'm not so interested in my debug there because that worked, but I'll just comment it out because I may be interested later on if I run into particular problems on a particular line. That would be a helpful debug statement to have. So I'm going to say if preg match, and then I'm going to set this up. Now let's give ourselves our regular expression here, and then what are we matching on? We're matching on line, and we're going to put the matches in a variable called $m. You could call it anything you want, but that's what we're looking at here. So what is our actual regular expression? We're interested in something that starts at the beginning and has a 0 to 9, and that could be repeated 1 or more times, followed by a period. Since a period is normally a magic character, I have to escape it with the \. Then the next thing, looking over at my data here, is going to be a bunch of other text, something, 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 followed by a parentheses. Parentheses is going to be my key that I'm cluing in on the actual reference. So let's come back over here, and I will say anything occurring 1 or more times, and then we're going to have a parentheses followed by A to Z, A to Z. We could also have a 1 or a 2 in there, and we could actually have a space in there if it was like 1 Thessalonians. So those are all the things I can think of that could be in the book name, followed by some kind of white space, which could occur 1 or more times, followed by a number occurring 1 or more times, followed by a colon, followed by another number occurring 1 or more times, and that should take us to the end of the line, ending with the parentheses. Now, that should match our line, but we don't yet know what we're saving out of there. Let's see by echoing this, echo debug match, and we're just going to say print TR. We're going to see the whole variable that was matched up on this line. See at the very end here where we had the $M, the match, the part matched goes in here, which basically should be the whole line. And so what I'm saying is, in a debug statement, and again, the debug is nothing magic, I just put that there so I know it's not part of the actual output of my program. So debug, here's what's in the match, and then I give it the value of $M, and then, just to make it easy to read my stuff, I'm going to put this in here. So that should now be working. Because I'm working locally, I don't have to upload it. So let me come back over here and refresh this screen. It asks me if I want to resend the format. Yes, I do. Let's see what we've got here. It looks to me like it's matching almost everything, and if it's not matching something, I'm not seeing it right off. The way I could tell that is, for instance, if there was a number missing here. If it 1, 2, 3, 5, then I would know that the fourth line is not matching. But a quick scan, number 16 is missing here. We'll have to look at that. We'll have to look at our data and see what's going on with that. Oh, number 38 is missing. Number 40 is missing. Something's not right in our data. We're going to have to check that out. But for now, let's go back and let's make our regular expression actually remember other things here. So first off, let's remember the number that's at the beginning there. Then let's remember what comes after the parentheses. So we're in here after the parentheses, but starting with the book name and going up to just before the next parentheses. So starting with the book name, we're going to remember, and we're going to go all the way to the end of the thing right before the final parentheses. Let's see what it looks like now. We save that off, we refresh, and go to there. Now let's look at what we've got here. We've got an array that's been returned from our regular expression. The 0th element, which is the entire part that has been matched, starts with the 1 and goes all the way through to the last parentheses. The 1, that is the first parentheses that we've got, which you'll recall is this number back here, contains a 1. Perfect. The 2, which is the reference, contains mark 950. Looks good to me. Let's look at the next line. We're going to just scan through several of these. John 13:14 brought it in. Let's go down and skip. Okay, John 15:12 came over here, and the number 6 from back here. It looks like things are coming in very nicely. Let's see what we can do to actually put our table out there at this point. First off, we will get rid of our debug statement because we don't need it. Things look primarily good at this point. We need to go back at some point and figure out why some of those lines didn't match. But for now, let's echo this. You'll notice how I set things up one line at a time. I don't always do this. Sometimes I do it all at once, but this just is an aid to helping you to understand what's going on. So we're going to have, first off, we've got to have the number there, and that was in $M1. Copy those 3 lines, and then we've got the reference, that's in $M2. Now we've got to put down below our while statement the closing off of the table. I'll save that off, and up at the top here we've got to open up our table. So before the loop, notice here's the loop. All this part here is in the loop. So before the loop, I open up with a table. Within the loop, for each line, I generate a TR and then 2 sets of TDs with the data in between, close off the TR, and then at the very end of the loop, after that, we close off the table. Let's see what happens when we come in here and do this. Now we have a table that has, as you can see, 1, Mark 950, 2, John 13:14, 3, John 13:34, 4, John 13:34, and if we reveal sources, so we press Control U to see what it is, we can see that we've got the table, TR, TD, 1 TD, TD, Mark 950, close TD, close TR, open TR, etc., etc. This looks to me like we have completed the first part of this assignment, which we had right here. We now have a table containing the basic information. Note that there is no verse text, just the number and the simple, unadorned reference.